folks, JD here. This Aosenma CG033. Right, so this next video, just to cut a very long story short, this is not a flight test. It's not for the want of trying, it's just that the damn thing wouldn't take off. So I've, over 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, I've been trying to get this thing to work, and there's been multiple attempts which split up into 4 parts. The first attempt is just quite standard: charge the battery, read the manual, same as every other flight test. You know, charge the battery, read the manual, take the manual with you, have a read of it as you walk into the field, get to the field, set everything up, calibrate, lift off. That's it. Only that we calibrated, we couldn't calibrate. We tried, we couldn't lift off either. So then I thought, right, okay, maybe this has to be reset back to factory settings. Not knowing how to do that, I had a little look online, couldn't see anything, there was nothing in the manual, so I just thought, right, I'm going to run this battery right down to 0%, which took hours. And then once that happened, once the quadcopter was dead, then I charged it back up from 0 to 100 using my balance charger, so I could see that every single cell was fully charged and that we had a proper charge over the whole of the battery. Then took it out again the next week and tried once again, still no dice. And then I've tried again this morning and still no dice. Now I've tried various different things. I've tried calibrating, gyro calibrating the compass. I've tried the figure of 8 movement that is specified in the manual, just in case it was mid calibration sequence and this is why it locked out and didn't respond to anything. I've tried a mixture of different combinations of buttons to try and see if I can unlock the motors other than just the inward and outward lock and unlock sequence of the analog sticks. I've tried analog sticks and button sequences. I've tried I don't know how many different combinations. Same as trying to relock the motors and unlock the motors again to try and see if that would kickstart anything. I've literally had the quadcopter in my hand for 5 minutes making a figure of 8 in case it was mid-calibration, and that's why I couldn't get anything else. All through this time, the commonalities are that we keep on having an okay amount of satellites, up to 19 satellites, lock onto the transmitter without any issues. If I hold the quadcopter up, or when I walk around the field that you see in this next video, the altitude meter alters on the transmitter, so obviously it is connected, it is bound to the quadcopter, it is working. The only thing I can't do is unlock the motors. Nothing is registering as far as that is concerned. So my next step from this, I'm going to keep on trying a little bit, not for long. I'm going to give it another week or so and see how we get. I have contacted the company to try and see if I can get them to do anything. So far, nothing, no response even. So I think for now what you're going to see in this video is my multiple attempts over multiple weeks, trying to see if I can get this thing to take off. Different sequences of putting the transmitter on, then the quadcopter on, then the transmitter, walking around, different figure of 8 sequences, just trying everything that I can think of. I've also tried calibrating out the back garden. I've tried it in a different field and still nothing. So I'm gonna stop yammering and let you watch what we've got. Suffice to say, if you don't want to watch that, I totally understand, and if you just want me to skip to the verdict, don't buy it. That's it. If you have been fortunate enough to own it and fly it, then fantastic, congratulations. I've not been so lucky as of yet. Alright then folks, I'm going to shut up. Here are the
Okay, so I've just turned on the transmitter and I've just turned on the quadcopter. Now I'm going to try and see if I can put it into calibration mode. This is the way to put it into GPS calibration mode, if any of you are wondering anyway. It's just to pull the left analog stick down to the bottom left and the right up to the top right. But I'm not getting any response out of the transmitter, and no response. The transmitter looks like, when I push the speed up button, you should have this little indicator here, switch from low to medium to high. But that is not happening at all. It's just staying on low. Maybe I've got a problem with the transmitter, because I can't initiate gyro calibration and I can't initiate compass calibration. Right, is this dead? Is the question. Is this dead? It is a good question. It might be. It might be indeed. Oh, these buttons are responding. Okay, so my take pictures but lights are responding, my buttons. I've got 5 satellites. So when it gets above 8, what should happen is this LED should turn itself off. The second one should stay on. You should hear a beep, 2 beeps, beep beep from the transmitter. Now it's a bit strange how the satellites are climbing, but I'm not getting any response. I can't calibrate the gyro or the compass within the quadcopter. So actually it's not a fault of the transmitter. I would have thought it may be a fault with the quadcopter and the transmitter, or maybe just the quadcopter. There we go. So now we're on 8 satellites and we're locked down to 1 LED, locked onto 8. And I don't know, I can't start the motors. Let's lock the motors. I can't start the motors at all. So I would say that is not working. The transmitter is responding, but it doesn't seem to be responding to any of the commands I give it. The LED, the lights are still flashing on the quad. Now they should stop. They should go solid. So I'm going to give it another minute or two and see exactly what happens, and see whether or not I can actually take it up in the air. Up to 12 satellites now. I've just done a little walk around the field and still nothing. I can't unlock the motors. I can't relock them, but I can't unlock them either. Nothing. I'm just going to leave it for a few more minutes and see whether it is still part of its calibration process. It seems awfully slow if it is. I mean, the manual I've just gone back through again, and it doesn't say anything. It just says do exactly what I was doing, you know, try to calibrate it, and then calibrate in the figure of 8, and then once you're done, once you hear 4 beeps, you put it back down, and that's that. And then you calibrate the gyro, but I'm not getting any response out of the quad at all. It's just sitting there flashing. So I wonder whether there's something that's wrong with it. I'm certainly picking up satellites, 12, but it still says GPS off. But I imagine once it's finished doing whatever it is that it's doing, whether it is part of the calibration process, whether GPS then switches to on, because there's no way. I've gone through each of these buttons, clicked and held, and there's not any way that I can turn on this GPS. And there's just nothing at all. It's not as if there's a combination of buttons either. Right, so I'm resorting to walking my quad around a field. So I'm gonna give it an idea and see whether or not I get anything from it. Now it has picked up my height of 2 meters. Well, that's not 2 meters. Well, that may be height of 1. So it is picking up. It is reading from the quadcopter. Lights are still flashing. So I'm going to walk it around a little bit longer and see whether, I mean, satellites are still the same speed of 1 meters per second, but it's just this calibration issue. And I've just flown 2 other GPS quadcopters are locked on within 10 minutes. Well, not even that, about a minute and a half. And I've just been flying them for 10-15 minutes. I don't think... There we are. No, still it is reading the quad. 2 meters, 1 meter. Still nothing from it though. Just LEDs flashing. I'm going to take it back, see whether I can if I can unlock the motors or anything like that, and see whether lock, unlock. No, nothing whatsoever. Just sitting there doing absolutely nothing. Ah, God, my fingers are frozen. I've been here so far. It's about 25 minutes. Just trying to get this, just walking around. Oh, and I mean, it's not even registering anything. Nothing. Well, I'm going to keep on going with it and seeing how far I get with it. Well, I've knocked it off, and honestly, yeah, that thing ain't gonna fly. I'm gonna take it back and see if I can fiddle with it and see if I can get it to work, because in its current incarnation it isn't gonna do anything like that whatsoever. It seems to be locked in a particular state and it doesn't seem to unlock from it, which is very annoying. So yeah, I'll see how far I get with that. And yeah, hey folks, JD here. Today I'm back out. This is the 4th attempt at trying to get this in the air, so it's not a very nice day, but I thought, well, let's try and see what we can do. So I'm going to do it a slightly different way. In the first part of the video you saw me turn on the quadcopter first, then the transmitter, which is, you know, the standard way to do things. But at this time I'm going to do things a little bit different. So I'm going to turn on the transmitter first, then I'm going to turn on the quadcopter. Now, what I've done in between the last video and this, because obviously it moves, you're not getting any sort of time scale with any of this, is that I've been through and I've totally run this battery in the quadcopter down to 0. I've literally left it on in my office until the battery lights turned themselves off, and I tried to turn it back on and nothing, and still I'm not getting any beeps from the quadcopter, nothing at all. Same as before, not able to calibrate it, GPS compass wise or gyro, nothing whatsoever. Again, I'm sure that it's stuck in some sort of calibration cycle, because we're accumulating satellites like there's no tomorrow, and it's just not able to do anything. We just have that 3 flashing LED sequence and that's it. It's extremely annoying. I have a look to see if there's some way I can factory reset it, if there's any way that I can just revert it back to factory settings, and so far nothing. So for myself, my friends, this is going to be a massive do not buy. Stay the hell away from it. I haven't watched anybody else's videos, I haven't seen anything else. Right, there we go. So that's the transmitter. We've got 12 satellites now, we're locked on, and we've got 1 LED notification there, which is standard what you get. I'm going to try and see if I can calibrate the gyro and compass again. Still nothing. I'm going to try and see if I can start the motors so you can unlock it. Again, nothing. So if I try and relock it, in case it's stuck in some sort of sequence, that's to be relock the motors and then unlock the motors. Nothing. It just sits there, does absolutely nothing. I mean, it doesn't matter what I push, doesn't matter what sequence of buttons I push on here, it just does nothing. It just sits in that particular sequence and does nothing, absolutely nothing, which is such an annoyance. Right, well, only a quick video, folks, just to tag on to the end of the last one, just so that you could see what happened once I took this battery down to 0 and then charged it back up, which took about 3 hours and 15 minutes to charge that on my balance charger. A nice little slow charge to ensure every cell was fully charged properly. Well, that is an absolute dud. So let's knock that off. And I think it's fair to say, stay the hell away from this. Over the next coming weeks, I am going to keep on trying and see whether I do get anything else out of this. I'm not happy to just leave this open-ended like this, but at the same time I'm not going to kill myself trying to get this thing in the air. What I'm going to try and see if I can do is I'm going to try and see if I can get my hands on the firmware and see if I can reflash it or try and do something to get it out of this goddamn cycle. But so far there doesn't really seem to be a lot that I can do, because it just seems to be stuck in this, I don't know, I'm going to call it a calibration cycle, because I don't know what else it's doing. It's not giving me anything. But yeah, if you have bought it and if you have got it in the air, I hope it's worked well for you. I really do. Some quadcopters you win, some quadcopters you lose, you know. It's looking like it's becoming more and more often these days that some of these don't fly, and it's really starting to get me very angry, because over the past year and a half we've had fantastic success with all these. No matter what sort of category, no matter what make, no matter what price, they've always worked. Now it seems to be that it doesn't matter what you spend. I mean, there's 2 in the last month that I've spent on, and they're just absolute no-goers. Right then folks, I'm going to stop yabbering on. I'm going to leave you get on with your lives. Thanks ever so much for watching and listening, my friends. I've been JD, you've been fantastic as always. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Hello and welcome to all the new subscribers. I hope you're enjoying the channel. So until next time, my friends, happy flying, just not with this thing.